Something that the NFL, not the NFL, the Pro Football Hall of Fame today announced the All-Decade team, the NFL All-Decade team for the 2010s. And the Saints and LSU were both pretty well represented on the All-Decade team. From the Saints, you had three guys. You had Cam Jordan on the defense and Darren Sproles and Jari Evans on offense. So Evans and Jordan played almost every snap of their entire career with the Saints. Cam Jordan has played every snap of his career with the Saints and has not missed a game since his rookie year of 2011. Jari Evans played the bulk of his career, of course, with the New Orleans Saints until the last couple of years, as a free agent, finding other homes before coming back and finishing with New Orleans. But Jari Evans was a guy that was a five-time All-Pro, four of those on the first team, 6 Pro Bowl nods, also, of course, won a Super Bowl. And then Sproles played a quarter of his career in New Orleans, but it was arguably his most productive. I'm looking for the exact number because I had it here. I don't see it. My apologies. Oh, here it is, 48. 48 of his 195 career games he played with New Orleans. He started in San Diego, then really blossomed with Drew Brees, and then the Saints traded him to Philly, which is something Sean Payton has often talked about how much he regretted. But the snub here, first of all, I'm surprised to see Jari and Cam Jordan on the list because Cam Jordan, while he's been massively productive, has not been the flashiest guy in the NFL at a position that really carries an awful lot of flash. So I was really actually pretty pumped to see Cam Jordan on the list. Certainly worthy, but just surprised. And Jari Evans, considering, this is the all-decade team for the 2010s, his career started in 2006, and he and Carl Nicks were both all-pros in 2011, and Jari was great at the early part of the decade, but obviously didn't play for much of the second part of the decade. So that's, to me anyway, was a little bit of a surprise to see Jari Evans, but a pleasant surprise in that one. The snub that Saints fans are going to look at, of course, is Drew Brees. And Brees was not on the all-decade list. It was Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers were the two quarterbacks. So understand that we're splitting hairs here. But part of me actually is kind of okay with it. Hear me out, please. Okay, please hear me out. Can we first agree that both are amazing quarterbacks that are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers? Can we agree on that? Brees and Rodgers are both amazing talents, brilliant at what they do, and you're splitting hairs between two of the all-time greats. Okay, that's one. Aaron Rodgers won his Super Bowl in 2010. Brees won it in 2009. So in this era, 10 to 19, okay, 2010 through 2019, Rodgers won a Super Bowl, Brees did not. Green Bay also went to the playoffs 7 straight years from 2010 to 2016. They missed in 17-18, and then were back in 2019. So 8 times in the playoffs. The Saints were in the playoffs 6 times, 10 and 11. Then they missed in 12, the Bounty Gate year. They were back in 13, then had back-to-back-to-back 7 and 9 seasons before going back the last 3 years. Rodgers had 2 seasons without the playoffs. Brees had those 3 seasons the 4 seasons total, but the 3 back-to-back-to-back 7 and 9 seasons. And yes, you can say, but the defense, and you're not wrong. And yes, you can absolutely point out the fact that Aaron Rodgers had Pro Bowl wide receivers like Devontae Adams and Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb and Greg Jennings, and you're not wrong. And Brees has never had a Pro Bowl receiver until Michael Thomas, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong on any of those. You're splitting hairs between the two, and I could see how voters could look and go, well, Rodgers went to the playoffs more. Their numbers were certainly comparable. Rodgers had an MVP in that mix in the 15-1 season. And he won a Super Bowl. If you're looking at the totality of their careers, I would absolutely take Drew Brees' career. he has had the greatest passing career in NFL history. That's not debatable. Like, statistically, Drew Brees is the greatest passing quarterback in the history of the NFL. That's not debatable. But if you're looking at wins and all the other things encompassed there, I get it. I do understand how someone with an impartial view is going to look at Rodgers and say he had a better decade, because he did. So I would love, and maybe, probably not maybe, likely, without the Nola no call, if the Saints go to the Super Bowl and win it, chances are that is Brees there. Because he would have 2 Super Bowl wins to his career that have the same number of Super Bowl wins in this era. I would get it. And it would make a lot more sense. But I do understand. You're splitting hairs among 2 all-time greats. It sucks that Brees isn't on there, but you can make a compelling argument the other way for Rodgers just when you look at this era from 2010 to 2019. Rodgers went to the playoffs more. He won a Super Bowl. He won an MVP. Brees didn't do those things in this era. So it doesn't mean that Brees isn't an all-time great. It doesn't mean that I would still take Drew Brees' career over Rodgers, because I would, but that's in totality. And I think it's got to be considered. So bummed, but let's be real. All Drew Brees really wants is another Super Bowl. See if he can get it in 2020 coming back.